Welcome back to Views with Hughes, your agenda-free news. This is Jerome Hughes, and so the Acolyte views numbers are in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into the story. So this is coming in from Deadline. As of today, the Acolyte views grow to 11.1 million views on Disney Plus after 5 days of streaming. Okay, and then it also provides an update. So this new report came out saying that the Acolyte didn't do as basically shows that the Acolyte didn't do as well as Ahsoka on Disney Plus. Okay, and it confirms that in this article. Now, Katie Campion from Deadline said that according to Lucasfilm data, yes, Lucasfilm data that's been provided by Lucasfilm themselves under Disney says the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte only got 11.1 million views worldwide in the first 5 days. Okay. Now, when reading this article, and I'm going to have a link below in the description, like when you read the article, just watch out for like basically them doing damage control for the Acolyte, okay, for Leslie Headland as well as Kathleen Kennedy, and even Bob Iger. They're doing damage control for the Acolyte as well as the showrunners of the show itself. And the author is actually defending, the Acolyte as being off to a promising start and stuff, stating that, like with the premieres or the first 5 episodes, saying that as if a lot of the audience is actively looking forward to the Acolyte as if it's the best thing in Star Wars since the original trilogy. Now, the author, like I said, claims that the Acolyte is off to a great start, and what the author fails to remember is that the House of the Dragon had a one-night premiere of 10 million views on the Sunday night it premiered episode 1 on the HBO Max as well as HBO channel. Now, this is compared to the Acolyte 5 days of streaming at 11.1 million views, whereas House of Dragon in one night had 10 million views. And on the first night, Lucasfilm and Disney also boasted about the fact that, they had 4.8 million views in that one night with the 2 episodes. Now, as you all can see, those numbers are quite different. And it shows that House of the Dragon, which premiered last year on a Sunday night, actually did much better than the Acolyte did, with the 5 nights of streaming, with 2 episodes that they've uploaded. And that comes to show that, well, the fans simply just don't want this kind of Disney Star Wars, okay? And it also makes it clear that the Acolyte didn't perform as well as Dave Filoni's recent Star Wars series, Ahsoka. Now, a blog post from StarWars.com did mention before that the debut episode of Ahsoka got 14 million views, making it the #1 series globally on the streaming platform. So while Ahsoka hit 14 million views with just its first episode, The Acolyte only got 11.1 million views with its first 2 episodes combined in a 5-day span. Okay. And Lucasfilm mentioned in a footnote that a view is determined by dividing the total time people watch by the length of the video. Now, the first episode of Ahsoka was 56 minutes and 25 seconds long. Okay. They also released a second episode right after the first Ahsoka episode, which was about 43 minutes and 57 seconds long. Excuse me. So basically, if you add up both the episodes, the total length was about 100 minutes and 22 seconds. All right. Now, on June 4th, last week, The Acolyte also premiered with 2 episodes. The total length of these episodes of The Acolyte was 73 minutes and 55 seconds. But looking at the total minutes watched worldwide, people spend about 820 million minutes watching The Acolyte, while Ahsoka was watched for roughly 1.4 billion minutes. Okay. And everyone remember how bad Ahsoka turned out, going throughout the season. But there's also some doubts about how accurate Disney's reporting is, including on the Acolyte itself. Nielsen, the company that tracks viewing data, actually reported that the 2 episode premiere of Ahsoka got over 100 million minutes watched over 800 million minutes watched just in the US alone. But this also raises questions about the global numbers that Disney provided. Okay. Now, As mentioned by a user on X who goes by Now It's Known, the total minutes watched for the show's finale, Ahsoka, that finale week dropped to 575 million minutes. And to put that in perspective, it did worse than Andor, which had 674 million minutes watched during its finale week. Now, Andor started with 3 episodes on September 21st, 2022. And according to Nielsen, it had 624 million minutes watched in its first week. Okay, and that's pretty sad for Disney Star Wars right there, especially with the Acolyte. But Troy Gilroy, the guy who's running the Acolyte, the Andor show, talked about how they were trying to catch up with the audience. And he told Variety, I thought we'd have a huge audience right away, but it would take longer for non-Star Wars fans and critics to get interested. But it turned out the opposite. We got a lot of praise from many places, but we're still chasing the audience. Now, comparing to other shows, actually, The Acolyte did do much worse than both Obi-Wan Kenobi as well as Mandalorian Season 2. Now, Kenobi premiered with 2 episodes back in May, 2022, and that had like about over 900 million minutes watched in the US alone. But The Mandalorian Season 2 started in October 2020 and managed to get over 1 billion minutes watched, even though they only released 1 episode. And Season 3, which also had just 1 episode at the start, with The Mandalorian, got 823 million minutes of viewing in the US, according to Nielsen. Now, this clearly shows that The Mandalorian, as well as The Acolyte, are not doing well. Now, under Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger, Star Wars is losing viewers and fans really quickly. And The Acolyte is the latest to confirm this. Now, people blame Kathleen Kennedy a lot because she's the one approving these shows. And Bob Iger also gets blamed because Bob Iger is the CEO letting Kathleen Kennedy constantly keep doing it. Okay. But of course, Bob Iger hasn't fired Kathleen Kennedy because it's possible that Bob Iger is afraid of Kathleen Kennedy. And it's also possible that Kathleen Kennedy may have some goods on Bob Iger. But Leslie Headland, who was in charge of The Acolyte and used to work for Harvey Weinstein, knows she's also responsible. And Leslie Headland told the New York Times before, and I reported on this before, where she said, if it doesn't succeed, it's because of me. And that's really scary to think about. Now, with that being said, for Leslie Headland to actually say that, it shouldn't be of no surprise because of the fact that she recently made it known that, well, I don't want to say that, but she actually agreed with the reporter from an interview that she did. Leslie Headland said that this is the gayest Star Wars on record. And not only that, but before, she actually admitted out there that this show is based on her on sexuality, of her being a lesbian and stuff. And you know what? All of this points to a bigger problem about how Star Wars is being managed. Star Wars fans are getting frustrated because they feel like the quality is just not there anymore. And the people in charge are not making good decisions at all. All right. But the numbers show that people are tuning out. And unless something changes, it might actually get worse. Well, actually, I changed my mind on that one. But it is going to get worse. Because we got episode 3 premiering, all right, premiering this week. And it's like people who are the critics who already saw it, they've actually put out there that episode 3 is what makes it worse. Okay. Because of the fact that of the birthing by 2 lesbian parents and stuff of twins. And that's going to set a lot of people off, especially those who have family values and stuff, who want to keep the family or the state of the family sacred. But the fact of the matter is, it's not just that, but it's mainly because of the fact that this is not something that actual Star Wars fans didn't ask for. They don't want any political ideology pushed forward, especially if it's something that Disney doesn't really care about. Okay. Now, the show The Acolyte is dead on arrival. Okay. No one cares about The Acolyte, and no one cares about what Leslie Headland has to put out there. No one cares about the messaging that The Acolyte is putting out there because of the simple fact that they don't want the messaging that The Acolyte is putting out there. And the fact of the matter is, this is far from what George Lucas wanted. You know, George Lucas didn't create the Acolyte. Kathleen Kennedy did. Dave Filoni did. You know, this came from the High Republic series and stuff that didn't do so well. And to have it in the show, The Acolyte, you know, that's basically showing that you don't want that. They basically feel that this show is going to succeed, but in reality, which they're ignoring, The Acolyte is actually going to fail. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have with this particular video. If you enjoyed what I shared in this video, go ahead, smash the like button, share far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.